If you look at the round 2 question, you will find that you first have a question stem. This is the main question, right? And then these are the cues.
Yeah.
All right. You just have 1 minute of time to make notes. When you're making your notes, you're supposed to do it in bullet points. Don't write full sentences, because as you can understand that a minute's time cannot allow you to write full sentences, right? And you have 2 minutes time to present your response. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is exactly how you need to work on this round 2 question. This is the only round in which you are getting this 1 minute of your time to make your notes. In no other round, be it your part 1, be it your part 3, you will be having this time to make your notes. Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, again, what is important in this round, that you have the content to speak for 2 minutes. All right. You don't mostly have to think about the 2 minutes or that. The examiner will stop you once you've given sufficient content and once your 2 minutes are over. Number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to follow the sequence. But then it is mandatory and it is definitely critically important for you to answer all the cues. Okay.
Okay, so if I was in like around 2 minutes and I'm just answering the third question and I didn't answer the fourth question, by that time the examiner stops me.
Yes. Yes. Right. Okay. Stop you in the sense, he or she will show some gesture with hand and, will ask you to stop or something. That is one thing. So answer all the cues and make it sure that every cue is answered in a proper way, which means that when maybe would be like, giving to a sentence, one sentence, maybe 2 sentences, but explain demands you to give at least 2 or 3 sentences. So understand these words, explain, what, why, when. Are you getting it? What I'm trying to say? I mean, do not have this idea because just because you have 4 cues, so there should be 4 sentences. No. The answer to the word explain would definitely be more than why it takes place or when it takes place. Right? So following the sequence is not mandatory, is not obligatory, but answering each of the cue is very important. Okay. And the basic difference between round 2 and round 1, first of all, you do not get this time in round 1. And secondly, round 2 is more descriptive. You're speaking at length for 2 minutes of your time. Got it? So this is one thing. Moving on to your round 3, please take a screenshot or a snapshot, whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Done? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now moving on to question number 3. Look at question number 3 and tell me what exactly do you understand by the content of the question. What is the question demanding? What are the questions demanding you? Will you be answering them in an elaborative way, or will it be a very simple and straightforward way? How should it be?
So it is in central or related to the part 2 question.
Yeah, the content of the questions, I mean, the topic would be similar. Like if you look at your part 2, you will see that it is asking you about some sort of special event. And in your part 3 also, the topic of the questions are similar, asking you about celebration. But then the content is different. See, look at this. What sort of occasions? How important are? Should people? Why do many? Have national celebrations become more or less important? What sort of things? Are these as simple and straightforward as the kind of questions that were asked in round 1?
No.
Exactly. They are not. Right? So if you see what, you have to explain. How important? You have to explain. Should people? You have to give your opinion and substantiate with relevant argument and example. Why do? You have to give the reason. You have to explain the reason. Have national celebrations become more or less important? You have to compare. What sort of things? Again, you have to kind of predict. Why? Because will in future. So in round 3, we can basically classify and segregate the questions, okay, in these 4 or 5 different types. They can ask you to explain. They can ask you to predict. They can ask you to compare. They can ask you to give your opinion. They can even ask you to suggest.
Okay.
Right? So which means that for these types of questions, at least for each question, 5 to 6 sentences. In these 5 to 6 sentences, you have to explain, you have to substantiate with relevant arguments and give example, and you also have to round off your talk. Is that clear?
Okay. For every question, 5 to 6 sentences.
Yes, 5 to 6 minimum. I mean, minimum 5 sentences, like 5 sentences, maximum 6 sentences. All that I'm trying to tell you is that for round 3, I mean, round 3 is a kind of, round which is basically, allowing you to argue. You have to put forth your arguments. Okay, you have to show your argumentative side. You have to show your problem solving side. You have to show your critical thinking side, your logical thinking side.
Okay.
So if you just say, if I can just give you an example, what sort of occasions do families and friends like to celebrate? If you just say birthday, Eid, anniversary, that's not all. You have to say, why do you think, birthdays are celebrated? Why do you think Eid is celebrated? Why do you think anniversary is celebrated? There should be some reason, right? Right? And for any of these, you also have to give an example. If you want, you can give a personal experience. If you want, you can give a statistical example. If you want, you can even give a specific example. Did you get it? What I'm trying to say? So why do we celebrate birthdays? We celebrate birthdays because, again, people come together. You have all your near and dear ones, people who were there when you were just born. You celebrate to take blessings. You meet with all your friends and family you probably you've not met for years, right? You dine together, you sort out your differences. This is a very good time to basically amicably settle your differences. Sorting out differences, you often convey or exchange very important information. You'll find that sometimes, suppose there's a Durga Puja celebration and there's a wedding that is supposed to happen, and you kind of send cards and invite people in that occasion itself, ताकि कोई मिस ना हो जाए, नहीं तो घर में जाके करना पड़ता. Correct? So are you getting, I mean, that reason has to be there. You cannot just say, like, here, why do many people enjoy participating in national celebrations? I mean, you have to give reasons for your answer. So this is a typical round, which is also known as abstract round. And this is testing you on your argumentative skills, on your your argumentative skills, your critical thinking abilities. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it?